Hello everybody, and welcome to a Dead by Daylight tutorial. In this video, you will be taught basic and beginner tips on how to get your Dead by Daylight experience kicked off. Please do note, if you are here for veteran or professional tips on how to get better, this is not the video for you. Generators are the main objective survivors have. They must repair 5 generators before all survivors die. You can see how many generators are left to complete on the bottom left hand corner. You can spot generators from the flashing lights located above them. While you repair, you will get skill checks. There are good skill checks and great skill checks. Failing the skill check results in the generator exploding and some progression being halted and lowered. You can work with other survivors to speed up progress, but the multiplier goes down for each survivor on the same generator. Chests are a way for survivors to get items to give them bonuses throughout the trial. Each chest has a chance to contain any item that is currently obtainable in the game. With perks, you can alter what you can get from chests. Searching a chest grants you 250 blood points as a bonus. In each new trial, there will always be a chest spawning in the basement. Be careful if you try to search it. The basement only has one way in or out, so it's vital you make sure it's a good time to search a chest, or the killer may hear you. Scratch marks are trails that survivors leave behind when holding down the sprint key. They stay visible for 10 seconds to the killer. Only the killer can see scratch marks unless the survivor has the perk Fixated, which allows them to see their own scratch marks. The killer can use these trails for different reasons, but it's mainly to follow survivors. Survivors can abuse this in many ways to create confusion for the killer and help them escape. This is one of the most vital pieces to this game as a killer, so I'm going to show you an example. Here, I am chasing a survivor around 2 window vaults. A lot of the time, I don't actually see the survivor, but only their scratch marks, allowing me to stay with them and follow them. If scratch marks didn't exist here, I probably would have lost them many times throughout this chase. In this clip, I am running towards the main building when I see the killer. I pretend like I'm going one way and start walking. This prevents the killer from seeing my scratch marks, making it much harder to find me. Health states determine how vulnerable you are to the killer. There are 3 health states: healthy, injured, and dying. You can heal survivors to bring them up 1 health state. Each heal takes 20 seconds and only heals 1 health state. While in the dying state, all survivors can see your aura until you are picked up. Also when dying, there is a bleed out timer, signaled below the survivor's icon. If the timer runs out, you die where you lie. For each extra survivor, healing adds another 100% healing speed by default. While in the dying state, you can recover, but you need someone to come and help you up once the bar is full. Hook states tell you how close you are until you die. There are 3 states, but we're going to call them stages. Stage 1, Stage 2, and Stage 3. Stage 1 allows you to attempt to unhook yourself, but speeds up the process if you try to and fail. Stage 2 requires you to only struggle against the entity and hope a survivor can rescue you. Stage 3 is death, and a game over for you. Getting hooked a 3rd time or not struggling on Stage 2 results in the entity completing the sacrifice. Pallets are a way to slow down the killer to help the survivors escape the trial. They can be found at many places throughout each map, some more than others. As a survivor, you can use these pallets to pause the killer or force them to take extra time to walk around it, giving you space. If you drop it at the right time, you can stun the killer, preventing them from moving for a short time. As a killer, if a pallet is dropped, you can break the pallet, making it unusable for the rest of the game. Pallets aren't used to only slow down the killer. If you pick up a survivor while on a pallet, if a survivor drops it at the right time, you will drop the survivor and become stunned for a few seconds. Totems are a way for survivors to get extra blood points. There are two types of totems, dual totems and hex totems. Hex totems are dual totems but lit up with a small fire underneath it. Hex totems are linked to a corresponding killer perk. Cleansing the hex totem removes that perk for the rest of the trial. It also gives a notification to all players on the map, including the killer, making a thundering sound and showing you the location for a few seconds. The killer can see the aura of the hex totem until it is cleansed, so stay aware. There is only one more thing left to cover, but it's very simple, the exit gates. The exit gates are powered when all 5 generators have been completed. Survivors can open the exit gates, but once they are open, it triggers the end game collapse, which is a timer on the top of your screen. When the timer reaches 0, you die. The timer is slowed when a survivor is in the dying state or hooked. The killer can open exit gates, but neither gate can be opened in order for the killer to open it. Oh yeah, there's also the hatch, which you can close as a killer if there's only one survivor remaining, which also triggers the endgame collapse. That is the end of this Dead by Daylight tutorial. This only covered the most basic things in this game. You can find many other resources throughout YouTube and the Dead by Daylight wiki to find more clues to get your experience kicked off. I recommend you do so, because there's some stuff I intentionally left out, such as lockers, simply because I don't want more potatoes in my game. Thank you for clicking on this video and sticking through it. It took me a long time to make. I hope this tutorial was worth it, because if it wasn't, I'm not sorry.